So today we're going to talk about how I had to go bankrupt, how I manifested that unconsciously, the lessons I learned, and then what happened afterwards. So this is what my wallet looked like at that point, and that was my reality. In fact, I had less than nothing, zero, absolutely nothing less. It forced me to go bankrupt. And here's the wild part, of course. I wasn't because I was lazy. I'm a hard worker. It wasn't because I didn't want success. It was because I followed manifesting gurus, if you like, teaching, the limited teaching that was available back then. Essentially, the idea was just think positive, visualize, raise your vibration, and I love this stuff. And so I did it full on. I had a healing center and everything. I gave it everything. And actually, it destroyed me financially. And there's real reasons for that. The crazy twist, of course, is that that collapse gave me the missing piece that I use today. And that piece turned it all around, took me into an amazing income, amazing lifestyle on my terms. And it showed me how to combine inner and outer reality in a magical way that I now love. And I'm still learning about, of course. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what I learned from that lesson. And so you don't end up anywhere near that at all. So stay with me. In about 7 minutes, I'm going to reveal probably the most humiliating moment of my life, which is when I had to go to court. I felt about 2 feet tall, but strangely enough, I didn't feel shame because I knew I'd done my best. I knew this was me manifesting, and I knew it was all about using my spiritual abilities. I'm all in on that, but I had really underestimated what it took to manifest consistently to make change, and I had to take responsibility for ignoring the warning signs too. So because of my unique spiritual experiences, I thought I'd had it. You know, I'd got it, I'd solved it. I was very wrong. So if you've allowed yourselves to kind of head down a route or been burned by guru advice, hit like, maybe let us know what's happened so I know I'm not alone in this. So to really understand this, you need to know where I came from. And I had my first out-of-body experience at the age of 3. Absolutely incredible. Continued throughout my life, continues today. I discovered from a very early age I could perform healing, opened one of the first Reiki schools in the UK in 1997, worked with thousands of people. I saw things that people can only imagine. I've led a very weird and wonderful life for sure. So when I discovered manifesting, I thought, this is going to be easy for me. You know, I already used and understood energy to a certain point. I'd had first-hand proof that consciousness exists outside of the body since I was 3. You know, I've understood my immortality since then. I was confident that this was going to be a piece of cake, a little bit arrogant, and I was certainly extremely wrong. Because here's the thing, I'm not bashing manifestation at all. I know my thoughts create my experience with every fiber of my being, but it does need to be redefined somewhat. But sometimes not enough information, a bit too much encouragement from gurus can be a dangerous mix for enthusiastic people like me. And that's what I'm here to show you, is that manifestation on its own is not going to work. Certainly in certain areas, it certainly fails how it's been taught without a clean and well-created internal belief system. In terms of business, you need business mechanics. It's going to break you. And that's why I built new frameworks like High Ticket OS, because the old way, well, it ruined me financially. And when I rebuilt with the right blend of internal energy, of marketing systems, I came back much stronger. I thrived. Everything was aligned. And of course, now I help coaches install these same foundations through my accelerator and private 10K programs. So in a few minutes, I'm going to tell you about a courtroom moment that was extremely upsetting for me, obviously, but also how it wasn't the end of me, and also that there was those lessons in that humiliation, and it was humiliating. And so let's just go about the lessons of how this actually happened. So I was all in on the law of attraction, the vision boards, the affirmations, the journaling. I was healing full time, having an amazing result, teaching psychic awareness, spiritual awareness, having a great time, if I'm honest. The healing center was thriving. I was, as usual, having daily psychic experiences. I still do. And I just thought that this was a shortcut to manifesting. You know, I'd got it. My ego kicked in. And the advice was always the same. You know, think bigger, believe harder, detach from action, allow the universe. And I was marketing the healing center. It was holding steady. But at a certain point, I remember hitting some internal fears, and I didn't pay attention. I recognise now there was a turning point where my internal belief systems began to change because of my old patterning. And I think my self-worth wouldn't let me thrive, to be honest. It was too damaged. My financial beliefs had reached a limit. And so the income slowed quick all of a sudden. I could feel the change internally. I ignored it. I wasn't aware enough of how my internal state was affecting my reality at that point. And I told myself, if I just hold the vision, clients are going to appear, everything's going to be fine. But the reality was actually pretty brutal. So the income just went through the floor quick. A ton of coincidences occurred that dented the business. Now I'm aware I was manifesting this, right, to a degree, not consciously, but I was new to manifesting. I didn't really understand it, and I did not course correct internally. I didn't take the feedback seriously. I didn't do the inner work that was needed, which is the mistake I see 99% of manifestors also do. So one morning I logged into my bank account, the work bank account, absolutely nothing, totally. I didn't have a lot in my private account either. Everything was empty. Bills had come in and absolutely wiped the whole thing out. Very soon, £20,000 worth of rent and rates and bills came in. Other things began to happen, and it didn't just end up. There were bills piling up in new ways over the next coming months, and I was drowning. Ultimately, a little while later, I had to admit defeat, go bankrupt, because I didn't have the money to pay it. I tried very hard to kind of work it out, but my belief systems were still ploughing forward. And I never forget being in the courtroom where my case was heard with a very judgmental judge looking down on me, so dismissive of healing and everything. He's looking at me like I was nothing. And I kind of felt about 2 feet tall. It's probably the most embarrassing moment of my life. It was demeaning. He was humiliating me about having a healing centre, and of course it wouldn't work and that type of thing. My stomach was in knots, but I still knew that this was learning, and that's, I've got that skill within me that I know it's learning. And I thought, how did it come to this? I thought I was doing everything right. I was a nice person, following the rule of manifesting. I thought a lot of people are lovely people, but things don't work out because of their beliefs. So I was ashamed, I was angry, I was very upset, but also curious. And so I took some time out to explore the whole experience and learn more about manifesting. And it was obvious I needed information that no one could actually teach me for sure. Nobody was teaching anything deep. So I had to go inside to Aaron, my guide and friend, who, since those early spiritual experiences, had been a conscious friend to me. I had to work it out. And that's when the penny started to drop, that positive thinking isn't power. It's potential, but not power. And potential without some kind of structure just collapses. And that's what happened to me. Everything just collapsed at a certain point. And the kicker is, the very thing the gurus actually were telling me to avoid, which was structure, they were saying flow, not structure, was actually what the energy needed the most. So what are the real lessons for this? Well, here's what no guru, certainly at the time, and I don't know if anybody's going to tell you right now, is that energy needs a container. That's the way I would approach it. Energy needs a container. Energy alone is like water. It just flows everywhere. So energy needs focus in whatever you're trying to create, an internal focus and a physical focus. It needs discipline to focus the energy in the right way to have the effect that you want. Without discipline and focus, you've got nothing. And in your business, in my business, systems like funnels and offers and pricing, all that, they're the container through which your energy flows. And once I understood that, I built a container. I chose to stay focused in a new way, to respect the feedback much more quickly, and things began to change. The lesson 2 is that beliefs shape strategy. I used marketing copy in the old days that wasn't mine. I was chasing money. My values weren't in line. So when I started to write offers and build my business kind of in line with my future self, they landed. I rewrote an email sequence after a meditation. So what do I really want tonight to work? And everything doubled. Intuition and data is the sweet spot. Marketing gurus say ignore numbers. Spiritual teachers say trust the universe. Marketers say ignore intuition and trust the data. So they're like, what the fuck do you do? And the truth is, you need both. Okay, both are essential. The best decisions came when I felt the answer first and confirmed it with metrics, i.e. feedback. And once I'd integrated these, then things really began to shift, and they continue to shift. My business went from dead, more than dead, to thriving. Clients stopped ghosting me. Coincidences began to happen in a positive way. And most importantly, I stopped betraying myself with damaging beliefs, however unconsciously. That's why today inside my accelerator program, I help coaches rebuild their marketing from the inside out. That's the way it works. That's the way life works, inside out. Not just funnels and systems and all that kind of stuff. It's not just mindset. It's about them integrating kind of 5D marketing, if you like. And in a moment, I'm going to give you that 5D framework that saved me, continues to save me and develop. But this really works for people like us, and it can save you from the same mistakes. So what's the comeback story? Well, let me just give you the framework that saved me, essentially. So I call it the 5D business model. It's a combination of internal and external processes, systems, disciplines. So identity is the first one, which infused content with your identity right as your thriving self and not as your struggling one. Aligned targeting, which is before you choose who you're going to work with, sit and relax and choose who you want to work with. They're calling to you. Quantum timing, launch in a way that feels good to you. Conscious pricing, charge at the level of your worth and trust you're going to get clients. Intuitive optimism, feel first, confirm with data. And that's what I want to share with you, and I do in my 10K OS program. And if you're not there yet, then the accelerator is the bridge of where you are to maybe where you want to be. It certainly was for me. This is how you go beyond hustle. This is how you go beyond blind positive thinking, overwhelm in marketing. This is the combination of spirit and systems for predictable income and lifestyle that you actually really want. So there's a lot more to that story, but we've only got limited time. But the takeaway is this: manifestation alone won't save you. It's not meant to save you. Marketing alone will not save you. Hustle alone will just burn you out. The real pathway, conscious energy, conscious systems. That's the real pathway. And if you're tired of the guru advice and ready to build something real, I've got a free community. I call the High Income Community. You're welcome to join. Information in there. It's free to start, where I share these systems, go into it in more depth. And there are practices that allow me to, and continue to allow me to thrive. And from there, if you want to accelerate, you can talk about maybe joining the private 10K program. So the question is, do you have any questions about that? Have you ever been burnt by guru advice? I'd love to hear your stories or questions, and I can do a video on it as well. And if you want to thrive, please do subscribe. In the next video, I'm going to break down the 5D upgrades I made in my funnels and systems that just triple conversions. And remember this: don't let positive thinking bankrupt you or cause you problems. Build something that lasts. Positive thinking is not enough. You need great belief systems. You need to focus on those and containers in order to focus and discipline the energy that's going to allow you to create the lifestyle that you want. There we go. Whew. I've never done videos on this before, so there we are. I feel cathartic. That's it. Have a great day. See you soon. Comment below with any questions.